over the weekend, another leaked memo regarding the motor oil shortages coming our way over the next few weeks and months made its rounds on social media. This time from AutoZone. And now there's a lot more anxiety and a lot more questions as to what is going to happen over the next few weeks heading into the summer. Last week, there was leaks from Toyota and Nissan with memos and TSBs, and Nissan verified the authenticity of that memo. But they weren't going to confirm whether that TSB made its way to the dealership networks or not, but it was dated May 1st. And from what I'm hearing from my sources, my contacts at dealerships in the Boston area, they received similar memos. And with those memos, it was guidance as to what to do. If there was any type of oil replacements they could use temporarily, like we saw from Toyota, or maybe even just warning of a supply chain disruption. With this AutoZone memo, though, it hasn't been verified, and no one has come out to confirm that this is authentic. And the way it's written, at least on the first page, it doesn't seem very corporate-like, or it doesn't sound like it comes from a regional manager. However, we are finding out more information from their suppliers. Their suppliers have issued statements over the last few days regarding price adjustments, and also maybe even product availability. And those suppliers sell their motor oil to AutoZone. So even if AutoZone or no one's going to come out and verify this, their suppliers have already said something. So let's go over this memo. It's pending store-wide training. All Southeast Region Team District parts and store managers, and the subject is for how AutoZone will navigate the impending supply shortage of motor oil, diesel engine oil, and specialty fluids. Now, this particular photo has made its rounds on social media, but at the bottom you can see there's 3 other pages. And everyone's just focusing on this first page, because the other 2 is more along the lines of guidance as to what to do if a customer comes in and they don't have the proper oil for that vehicle, if there is a replacement. And then also we find out that it was signed by somebody, but that is blurred out. To me, the only paragraph that means anything, and this is as a consumer, as a journalist, is the last paragraph on the first page. And that is, due to the unfolding situation in the Middle East, we're facing the largest supply shortage of lubricating fluids in the modern history of America. Realistic, middle-of-the-road estimates are for our average available supply in this product category to drop by 40%. That is a huge drop. That is significant. Almost half of their supply is going to be cut heading into the next few weeks and months. Now, people have been questioning, oh, how is this possible? We make our own oil. We don't import oil from the Middle East. This shouldn't be happening. Well, you're not completely wrong there. However, Group 3 base oils primarily come from the Middle East. The United States produces about 30% of the supply, but they're importing up to about 55% from the UAE, Dubai, and other Middle Eastern countries. So when you take that into consideration, you are looking at a significant drop in that supply for synthetic oil. But there is some good news on the way regarding the Group 3 base oils, and I'll get into that later in today's video, because that good news isn't coming anytime soon. We might be waiting a couple of years for supply to get back to where it should be in the US. As we quickly glance over pages 2 and 3, a lot of this doesn't offer much of substance for us as consumers, as journalists, because it's mostly just guidance for the employees as to what to do if someone comes in looking for a specific oil. It's basically scenarios and what should show up and replacement oil if that driver or that car owner comes in. The final page is signed sincerely and the name is scribbled out. It's very possible an AutoZone employee screen captured this memo and then shared it to Reddit and social media, and it really is true. It's not a fake. But right now, no one has come out to claim that it is true or not. So at the moment, we're going to treat it as if it's real. Now, backing up this AutoZone memo is an article from Jobbers World, which they are legitimate. The guy who runs it has worked in the industry for a very long time and also provides marketing to lubrication companies. And this article was dated May 14th, and the price adjustments based off of some parent companies that supply motor oil to AutoZone, to Walmart, have already made statements. So let's go over this article. So AOC USA and Highline Warren announced additional lubricant price increases as Group 3 pressures intensify. Now, who is AOC USA and Highline Warren, you ask? AOC USA is Amalie Motor Oil and Wolf's Head. You've probably seen them at AutoZone and Walmart. And then Highline Warren is Kirkland. So in this article, the pricing wave that began in March shows no sign of abating. This has been going on for 2 months now. AOC USA has announced another round of price increases across its lubricant product lines, effective on all orders placed on or after May 18, 2026. The increases are structured by product category and base oil type as follows. Synthetic oils, which are Group 3, is up $3.70. Synthetic blend oils, which is Group 2 and Group 3 mixture, is up $2.60 a gallon. Conventional oils, Group 1 and Group 2, is $2.20. Brake fluid and antifreeze, up $1. And grease products, up 25 cents. In the announcement, AOC USA cited sharply rising base oil, chemical, packaging, freight, and raw material costs, along with supply disruptions tied to the Middle East refinery outages and tightening global supply conditions. Highline Warren has announced an additional round of lubricant price increases, effective for all orders shipped or invoiced on or after May 22, 2026. The company said the increases are being driven by escalating geopolitical conflict overseas and continued pressure on energy markets, base oils, additives, and the broader global supply chain. Customers were also advised that the latest action comes on top of previously consolidated lubricant price increases announced on March 16th, March 30th, and April 15th. The newly announced increases include Group 2 lubricants up to $2.40 per gallon and Group 3 lubricants up to $3 per gallon. And thankfully, Jobbers World gives us a price sheet here as to what is going on and gives us an entire history ever since this started, going way back to March. But at the bottom of the screen is going to be upcoming announced increases. And this is really important because it's not just AOC USA. It's not just Highline Warren. It's Castrol, it's Shell, it's ExxonMobil, it is Chevron. And they're all telling us to expect increases. But what we also didn't see in that particular article is that there might be some product shortages, and some products might be temporarily unavailable. And that's from Highline Warren. So this is something that's become very serious, and it's across the industry. Now, yes, everything does seem rather bleak heading into the spring and summer, and at the moment, if we continue on this trajectory, it could get worse. But there might be some help on the way. As I mentioned earlier on, the United States does make its own Group 3 base oils, but only about 30%. So when you lose about 55% of that supply, expect a reduction. Expect shortages, at least in the short term. But help is on the way. It's just not coming in the near future. So this is from Lubes and Greases. And this is on ExxonMobil and some other manufacturers and refineries making adjustments to produce Group 3 base oils. So ExxonMobil to make Group 3 at Baytown. ExxonMobil announced Wednesday that it will upgrade the base oil plant at its Baytown, Texas refinery, giving it the capacity to make 8,000 barrels per day of that grade in 2028. Now, this article continues on to show us what is also happening from other companies as well in this particular segment. There have been examples in the United States of plants going in this route, so going in the Group 3 base oil route. In the early 2000s, Chevron's Group 2 plant in Richmond, California altered processes to give it the capacity to make 4,000 barrels a day of Group 3, according to Lubes and Greases base stock plant data. After a few years, the plant reverted to just Group 2 production until 2021. It currently has the capacity to make 2,500 barrels a day of Group 3, making it the largest Group 3 source in the U.S. Chevron also said that it will be upgrading its Mississippi Group 2 plant to make Group 3 base oils beginning next year. But it has not said what the Group 3 capacity will be. Canadian startup Cerilin is working to develop a gas-to-liquids facility in North Dakota with capacity to make 5,800 barrels a day of Group 3, but the project has not yet received a final decision. So as of right now, we have to treat the shortages as a possibility and also treat it very seriously. But there is also the positive news that later on in this decade, refineries will be able to make those Group 3 base oils, so that way we can have the synthetic oil made here in the U.S. and not worry about the Middle East. But at the moment, though, we have to really treat this seriously because it seems like based off of what I'm hearing from commenters and even from people who work at dealerships, It's already beginning and the price increases are already here. So, like I said last week, I'm going to stay on top of all of this and hopefully we get some good news for this week. But at the moment, there's a lot more companies issuing memos and TSBs and it doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon.